Welcome to the channel, my friend.
Hello.
Happy July 21st. Is that today?
I'm not sure.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. July 21st. The topic for today is made for working together. So yesterday was about justice and mutual beneficiality, if that's a word. And today it's made for working together.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Aurelius says, "Whenever you have trouble getting up in the morning, remind yourself that you've been made by nature for the purpose of working with others, whereas even unthinking animals share sleeping. And it's our own natural purpose that is more fitting and more satisfying." Yeah, that's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You've been made by nature for the purpose of working with others. I like that he says that it's a natural purpose. Like, if I can wake up in the morning and orient myself towards working with others and doing well by others, I don't need to worry so much about the purpose question in life. The purpose question in life will sort of start to take care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything on this one?
Mm-mm. No, not really. No, it's nice. I also have the same feeling. Like, it's nice.
Yeah. And like, it feels nice because it feels true, you know?
Mhm.
Like, there are those, like, you had that crazy work day yesterday, and like, but at the end of the day, you were like, it was crazy, but it was also good. And like, you spent the whole day just like working with others to like, let's resolve this, let's figure this out, let's move this forward. Oh, this is weird, but like, we're gonna work together to get through it. Like, that, I mean, I don't know at the end of the day what made it tip into like the direction of it was crazy, but it was good. Maybe it was the element of working with others that tipped it in the
or
good
something,
direction.
Yeah.
Shall I read Ryan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If a dog spends all day in bed, your bed most likely, that's fine. It's just being a dog. It doesn't have anywhere to be, no other obligation other than being itself. According to the Stoics, we humans have a higher obligation, not to the gods, but to each other. What gets us out of bed each morning, even when we fight it like Marcus did, is a bunch of Latin words that I'm not going to try to pronounce that mean to render works held in common. Okay? What gets us out of bed each morning is to render works held in common. Civilization and country are great projects we build together and have been building together with our ancestors for millennia. We are made for cooperation with each other. So if you need an extra boost to get out of bed this morning, if you need something more than caffeine can offer, use this. People are depending on you. Your purpose is to help us render this great work together. And we're waiting and excited for you to show up.
What does it feel like for you?
Yeah, I feel like I had a big shift in life maybe like 4 years ago or something. It was like during a period where I wasn't working and I was just like really struggling with purpose. And there must have been something that was helping me get to this point, like but I don't know exactly what the sources were. But eventually I started like waking up in the morning and asking myself like, what can I do that's useful? And it actually started like at home, like, okay, like I can like take this cooking thing more seriously. I think after that I started getting into soups and other things for us. And like before that I was probably a little bit lazier with the dishes. Like I would just like let them pile up in the sink, and then around that time it was just like, no, like do the useful thing. Just get the dishes done. You're here, they're dirty, they're in the sink. Just move them to done here. Like do one useful thing and then another useful thing and another useful thing. Even if like I'm the only beneficiary of it or you're the beneficiary of it, it's like it had to start there and like expand outward. And then like ever since then I've really have really understood the importance of this, of like I need to put myself in situations where people are relying on me for things, because that's when this sense of purpose just takes care of itself in some way. There's still maybe like an overarching sense of purpose that's a little bit elusive, like if I'm helping people in a way that I'm not super jazzed about, or I don't necessarily believe in the help that I'm offering people, which has been the case at some jobs that I was in or something like that, like then yes, like that still needs to shift. It's not just like get a job, be useful to people, and now everything takes care of itself. Like there's other variables that can mess with the sense of purpose. But I definitely noticed that putting myself in a situation where others need me like cleared up a lot of this sort of existential meandering and like what's the point of all of this type of thought lines.
Yeah, the purpose to serve others. It's a big purpose, yeah. Sometimes I have a hard time finding that too.
Even when you're working? Or just when you're not?
No, even if I'm working. Like I'm working, but I'm like, kind of like, who is this for? Or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm being helpful to others and stuff, and I'm ultimately putting it in a community, but I'm not, that's not what I'm thinking. I'm kind of confused of what it is for, actually. You know? And I don't find it for me either, right? Like, yes, it is for me because I have to, you know, have a paycheck or something, right? But it's like, it's not really for me, right? Like it's not like, oh, this is for me.
When you say it, you mean the work?
Yeah, the work, how I feel about the work, right? Like I don't necessarily feel a lot of times that it's for the community or even for me.
That the work that you do every day is not for the community or for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like because you can't feel the customer. Because there's like a different like, I think about like different layers of customers almost. Like when I go to work, my first layer of customers are my coworkers. And then the second layer of customers are like the actual like people who are using the product. So are you saying like you can't like feel the customers with the work that you're doing?
Mm. No, well, I mean, I know that there are customers at the end of the line, so like, yes, they are there, but it's hard for me to connect to that.
Those customers, sure, but then what about like a customer that would be like just your coworkers, like the people you're collaborating with to move things to done?
Like obviously that's closer, right? to it, but it also kind of loses its purpose of like I am helping them all, right? Like I am doing it, but and I'm doing it for the coworker customers and for the final customers. Like that message is that there is a customer, there is a person, human, that my actions will ripple down and affect someone. So I'm aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I'm actually doing it, but I'm not connected to that. It's hard for me to connect to those ideologies or something. Like I'm helping somebody, or like.
I mean, it's not a conscious thought. Like when I wake up and I do something, I remove a blocker for somebody on my team. It's not a conscious thought of like, oh my God, I'm helping someone. It's more so just like this underlying, like I think purpose is a little bit quieter than that. So it's more so like that day just ends up feeling better than a day that I don't have any, like a day that I would just be like unemployed, like indulging my own stuff and not, like contributing really to others. And then, like, of course the type of work matters. Like Marcus is not talking about the type of work here because he was emperor. So it wasn't like he was struggling with, who am I supposed to be in this system? Like that was set up for him already. So he was just like, well, I accept my role amongst these other people, and now I get up and I have to help them, and that's where my purpose comes in.
Yeah.
And so I think like part of this is like there might be another aspect to the whole conversation, which is, well, what's like the nature of work that we're all doing? Because I definitely feel like the nature of work itself has an impact on how purposeful I feel. Like there's a reason why I'm pursuing my yoga business outside of my day job. It's like if the type of work didn't matter and it was just helping people, wouldn't I just be fine to like just be in my day job forever? But that I don't feel fine. That doesn't feel like something that can happen. So yeah, maybe it's a two-pronged thing here, that he's only talking about one of the prongs. Because I bet you do feel more purposeful, like you feel like you're, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here, but like, do you feel more purposeful than if you aren't working at all?
But I'm okay. So, but I'm not saying I'm not feeling purposeful.
Yeah, you're just saying it's hard to connect with like who the work is for on the other side of it.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm not saying I'm not purposeful. I know that I'm helping people. Sometimes this person benefits from it, sometimes these people from benefit, but I don't know who I'm actually helping here. Like,
is that important? Like to the conversation of purpose?
Yeah, or direction or something. Like it feels like, well, don't worry, you're helping somebody, so you're important in the system, but it just seems kind of like, let's put this cog machine over here and let it spin over here, but somebody is putting me into this place, or you know what I mean? It feels like I'm not connected to where should I go, where I would like it, and also I'm very helpful to the community, right? Like that. I'm just kind of like, well, I don't know. I know just gonna have to get a job, and me getting a job is already set up for me to be helping somebody in their job, right? Like that's why they're actually hiring me, right? To help them. So I know that I'm helping them, but it's just like it's hard to connect to who am I actually helping, right?
Yeah.
Am I helping somebody get more money so they then have better lives themselves? Sure, you know. Am I helping a person who is in need of some sort and they're completely at the bottom of their bottoms? Maybe, sure, yeah. There are some of those, but I'm not connected to any of them. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. It's more of like here's all this work that needs to get done. Go do that work. And trust that it's helping somebody at the end of the line.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where I felt disconnected from a customer, but then I always feel really connected to like the people I'm working with and those collaborators, and like there's like a deep sense of like I helped this specific person like move this forward. So I always feel connected to like the impact of my work at like the immediate level of my coworkers. It's then beyond that to the customers maybe a little bit less vague unless I'm talking to those customers or I'm seeing them all the time. And you're in a situation where like you've never met or seen a customer at your company, right? Like to date.
No, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, so that's like.
But unless my customer is someone that I have met and I'm not aware that they're my customers. And that's my point. I'm not connected to who my customer actually is. You know, maybe like you said, they're my coworkers, but I'm like, no, they're just my coworkers. I have to go do this work because it's on the table and I'm doing as best I can so I don't mess anything up. And if somebody's down on their luck at their work, then I'm helping them to try to help them.
That's
right?
interesting.
Yeah.
One of our values at work is walk in our clients' shoes. And when they started defining that value, they were like, it's obvious who a client is at a marketing firm, but like what's not obvious is that your clients are also all of your coworkers, and they're actually clients before your real clients. And like it shifted something because I've worked with clients enough that, you know, there's the white glove treatment and the whole like very proper and do I have everything for you? And then like with the coworker cohort, it can be a little bit more rough and tumble, a little bit more like, well, I asked you for this yesterday, like why don't I have it? And so there's a little bit less of that treatment there, and that value of ours like really like I had to sort of like rethink like, holy shit, like my client is actually my coworker first. And now that I'm in a role that's not very client facing, that's essentially all I have are my coworkers. So I've started seeing them more as my customer than the clients for the company. But yeah, it sounds like also there's the whole matter of who am I inside of the company, and then what is this company inside of the world? And that question, I think there's also like a bunch of purpose stuff there.
Sweet. Do you have anything else?
I think that's it for me today.
Cool beans.
Alrighty, thank you for joining us. So good to see you, and we will see you here tomorrow.